Many people seek spiritual growth without first addressing the emotional wounds that block their path. True spiritual alignment isn't something you reach by escaping pain, it's something you unlock by facing it. Inner healing is the foundation upon which spiritual clarity, peace, and higher awareness are built. Without it, the journey becomes fragmented, filled with confusion and resistance. Emotional wounds create energetic disruptions. They act like static, interfering with your ability to connect to higher frequencies. Trauma, even if long buried, sends out signals that shape your beliefs, choices, and reactions. If those wounds are left unexamined, they create misalignment between your mind, body, and spirit. That's why no amount of meditation, rituals, or spiritual knowledge can truly transform you unless you first look inward. Inner healing is not about reliving pain, it's about releasing it. It involves becoming conscious of your inner world, recognizing suppressed emotions, and understanding how your past influences your present. This awareness opens the door to transformation. It allows you to reclaim your energy, your attention, and your spiritual center. When healing begins, alignment follows naturally. You no longer chase peace. It emerges from within. Your intuition strengthens, your purpose becomes clearer, and your energy becomes magnetic. You stop reacting to life and start creating it from a grounded, centered state. This process requires honesty. You must be willing to see yourself fully, including the parts you've tried to hide. It's in that raw honesty that real healing begins. And from that healing comes alignment, not just with your higher self, but with life itself. Spirituality is not a performance. It's not about appearing enlightened. It's about being whole. And wholeness is only possible when the inner fractures are acknowledged and restored. That's the path we'll walk through this journey, one layer of healing at a time. Before healing can begin, you must first identify what needs to be healed. Soul wounds often hide beneath the surface, masked by daily distractions or disguised as personality traits, but they always leave clues. Emotional pain, recurring life challenges, unexplained anxiety, or a sense of disconnection. These are not random. They are signals. Wounds of the soul are usually formed early. Childhood rejection, betrayal, abandonment, or criticism plant seeds that continue to influence your perception of yourself and the world. These experiences don't just fade. They settle in the subconscious, shaping your behavior, limiting your potential, and clouding your spiritual awareness. One of the most powerful tools for recognizing these wounds is self-observation. Notice your emotional triggers. Observe your patterns in relationships. Pay attention to what repeatedly drains your energy or evokes strong emotional reactions. These moments often point directly to unresolved pain. For example, if you fear being alone, there may be a deep-rooted abandonment wound. If you constantly seek approval, you might be carrying rejection from the past. If you feel unworthy of love or success, a childhood experience may have convinced you of your inadequacy. Naming these wounds is not about blame, it's about clarity, and clarity is the beginning of freedom. Suppressing pain doesn't heal it. In fact, ignoring these inner injuries gives them more power. The longer they go unacknowledged, the more they influence your reality. Healing begins the moment you admit something inside you still hurts. Spiritual bypassing, using spiritual concepts to avoid emotional work, can be tempting, but bypassing never leads to growth. It only delays the real transformation. Facing your soul wounds may feel uncomfortable, even painful, but on the other side of that discomfort is liberation. Start with honesty. Ask yourself what hurts when everything else is silent. Don't judge the answer. Just listen. Healing doesn't require perfection, it only asks for truth. Once you see the wound, you can begin the work of releasing it. And that's when your inner alignment starts to shift. Healing requires looking back, not to relive the pain, but to understand how it shaped you. Every belief, fear, or emotional block has a story rooted in your past. Until you recognize those origins, you remain tied to outdated patterns that no longer serve your growth. The human mind is designed to protect you. When you experience emotional pain, especially in childhood, your mind creates stories to make sense of it. Those stories become internal rules. I'm not good enough. Love is unsafe. If I trust, I'll get hurt. Over time, these beliefs solidify and begin to influence every area of your life: relationships, decisions, and your spiritual connection. Most of this happens unconsciously. You may not remember specific events, but your nervous system does. That's why certain situations trigger intense emotions or reactions. Your body is responding, not to the present moment, but to an unhealed memory buried deep inside. To begin healing, you must explore these stories. Ask yourself, when did I first feel this way? Who taught me this belief? What emotion do I keep avoiding? These questions guide you toward the root of your inner conflict. Clarity comes not from forcing answers, but from being willing to listen without judgment. This process is not about blaming others. It's about reclaiming your power. Understanding where the pain began allows you to see that it doesn't define who you are. It's just a part of your journey. You have the ability to release those old narratives and choose a new internal language. Creating emotional distance from past events doesn't mean forgetting. It means transforming how you carry them. You're not erasing your history, you're rewriting your relationship with it. When you shift your perception, you shift your energy, and that change opens space for alignment, peace, and clarity. Healing the present begins with honoring the past, not by dwelling in it, but by seeing it with new awareness. That awareness dissolves old patterns and creates the foundation for conscious, aligned living. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not control you unless you allow it to remain unseen. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful forces in the healing process, not because it erases the past, but because it frees you from being emotionally trapped by it. Holding on to resentment, anger, or guilt creates energetic anchors that keep you tied to painful experiences. Releasing them is not about condoning what happened, it's about choosing peace over suffering. Many misunderstand forgiveness. They see it as something given to others. But in truth, forgiveness begins within. You must first release the blame, shame, and judgments you carry against yourself. Healing requires self-compassion. Without it, you remain at war with your own story. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean the pain was justified. It means you are no longer willing to carry it forward. The weight of unhealed emotions can block your spiritual clarity, weaken your intuition, and drain your energy. Letting go is not weakness. It's a decision to protect your inner space. Self-forgiveness is often the hardest step. You may still carry guilt for choices made under pressure, fear, or survival instincts. But judging your past self from your present awareness is unfair. You did the best you could with what you knew. Acknowledge the pain, accept the lesson, and release the blame. Compassion expands your capacity to heal. When you understand that others act from their own wounds, you stop taking their actions personally. This doesn't excuse their behavior, it explains it. Compassion gives you distance. It allows you to see with clarity, not just emotion. And with that clarity, you choose freedom. One powerful method is writing a release letter. Speak to the person, the version of yourself, or the situation that caused the pain. Say what you never had the chance to express. Then release it, burn it, bury it, or simply let it go. The act is symbolic, but the shift it creates is real. Forgiveness and compassion don't just change how you feel, they change who you are. They remove layers of emotional noise and reconnect you to your essence. That essence is peaceful, whole, and aligned. And when you reach it, everything begins to change from the inside out. Once you've uncovered your wounds and released emotional weight, The next step is to reprogram your internal system. Healing is not only about letting go of pain, it's about consciously replacing what was lost with new patterns that support your highest self. Your mind operates through repetition. Every belief, whether empowering or limiting, was formed through consistent exposure and emotional reinforcement. If you grew up hearing that you're not good enough, your brain internalized it as truth. Over time, these messages became the voice in your head. To change that voice, you must feed it a new script, intentionally and consistently. Start by identifying the core beliefs that keep you small. Do you believe you're undeserving of love, success, or peace? Where did that belief come from? Is it based on fact, or was it inherited from someone else's pain? Question everything. Then create new statements that reflect who you're becoming, not who you've been. Affirmations are more than words. When repeated with feeling and presence, they rewire your brain. Say them aloud. Write them daily. Speak them when doubt creeps in. This repetition paired with emotion creates new neural pathways. Over time, these new thoughts become your default internal language. Visualization adds power to this process. Imagine your healed self. See how you move, speak, and respond to life. This mental rehearsal trains your subconscious to accept this new version of you as real. Your energy begins to align with your vision, attracting experiences that match it. Your environment matters too. Surround yourself with influences, people, content, practices that reflect your desired state. What you absorb shapes your internal world. Protect it. Choose inputs that nourish your growth, not repeat the old patterns you're leaving behind. Reprogramming is a daily practice, not a one-time event. But with consistency, your inner world transforms. You start making decisions from a place of strength, not survival. You respond with clarity instead of reaction. Your spirit feels lighter, more grounded, and deeply connected. This shift marks the beginning of true inner alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy speak the same language, your life begins to mirror that harmony in every area. Spiritual connection is not something you chase. It's something you experience naturally when your inner world is aligned. Once emotional noise subsides and your beliefs reflect truth instead of trauma, your connection with the divine becomes clear and direct. The divine speaks through stillness, but if your inner landscape is crowded with doubt, fear, or unresolved pain, that guidance is easily drowned out. Alignment is the process of tuning your energy to receive that guidance, without distortion, without resistance. It's the return to your original frequency. This connection isn't limited to one religion or belief system. It's the essence behind all spiritual paths, a direct, unshakable sense of being supported by something greater. Whether you call it God, Source, Spirit, or Universal Intelligence, the experience is the same: deep peace, inner knowing, and expanded awareness. You begin to feel that nothing outside you is truly separate. Every person, event, and challenge carries meaning. You stop reacting with fear and start responding with trust. Life becomes less about control and more about co-creation. Alignment enhances intuition. You start to notice patterns, synchronicities, and inner signals that once seemed random. Decisions feel clearer. Your actions carry more purpose. You recognize that the divine doesn't just visit, it lives within you. It expresses itself through your clarity, your compassion, your courage. Practices that support this connection include meditation, breathwork, and conscious presence. These are not rituals for escape, but tools to return to your center. Silence becomes sacred because it allows the whispers of your soul to rise. Through presence, you receive insight without force. Gratitude also deepens spiritual alignment. When you appreciate what is, you align with abundance. When you trust what's unfolding, you align with flow. These states of being bring you closer to the divine, not as a concept, but as a felt experience. Connection doesn't require perfection. It requires authenticity. The more honest and aligned you are within, the clearer the channel becomes. And through that clarity, you experience the sacred, not just in prayer or solitude, but in every breath, every choice, every moment. True transformation doesn't happen in a single moment. It unfolds through consistent action, shaped by the choices you make every day. Living in alignment means embodying the healing, clarity, and awareness you've cultivated. It's not just a state of being, it's a way of life. Daily practice anchors your spiritual alignment. It protects the inner peace you've worked so hard to access. Without consistency, old patterns quietly return. But when your actions reflect your highest values, alignment becomes sustainable. You're not just chasing moments of clarity, you're building a foundation of lasting change. Begin each day with intention. Before the noise of the world enters, take a few minutes to connect inward. Breathe, feel your body. Set a clear focus for how you want to show up. This creates energetic direction, aligning your thoughts and actions with purpose before distractions take over. Integrate mindfulness into ordinary tasks. Presence doesn't require a special setting. Whether you're walking, eating, or working, attention is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. The more present you are, the more empowered your choices become. You stop reacting out of habit and begin responding from awareness. Journaling is another powerful tool. It allows you to track emotional shifts, clarify thoughts, and stay accountable to your healing. Writing regularly helps you observe patterns that may still need attention. It also reinforces the truths you're choosing to live by. Spiritual alignment thrives in stillness, but it's tested in motion. Pay attention to how you handle challenges. Are you honoring your boundaries, speaking your truth, acting from love instead of fear? These moments reveal the strength of your alignment more than any ritual ever could. Even when you fall out of alignment, and you will, that too is part of the practice. The goal isn't perfection, but awareness. Notice when you drift, then gently return. Each return makes you stronger. Each adjustment refines your path. Living in alignment means you no longer search for healing, you become it. Your life becomes the expression of your inner work. Every thought, word, and action carries the frequency of your growth. And through this steady embodiment, you not only stay connected to your spirit, you inspire others to do the same. If this content made sense to you, don't stop here. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future content. Now, watch this next video where I'll show you another essential step to transform your reality. I'll see you there.